Welcome back to Lightning Intro to Coding. I'm Dennis from the Graphite Lab, and today we're going to be setting up VS Code, which will serve as our development environment for the course. Given that this is a Lightning course, if you want to get up and running even faster, you can pause the video here and follow along with the cheat sheet instead of watching me guide you through the process. Alright, now let's get started. Our first step is to download and install VS Code, and you can find the link in the description. During installation, you'll be presented with a bunch of options, and you're going to want to make sure that you set a check mark next to anything that mentions Add to Path, Open with Code, or Register Code as an editor, and then launch VS Code when it's ready. Okay, so when you first open VS Code, it'll look something like this. Now, there are a few things that we're going to want to do to make your life easier when we start out coding. So the first thing we want to do is to set up our extension. So we're going to go on the left here and click these little building block icons, and that'll open up our extensions. And you want to search for and install these three extensions right here. They're ESLint, Prettier, and Live Server. ESLint and Prettier kind of go hand in hand, where ESLint is a set of code guidelines that make sure your code works right, while Prettier makes sure your code looks right. While Live Server helps you see the changes that you make to your code and their effects in real time. Next, let's activate a few useful settings. So press Command-Shift-P or Control-Shift-P on Windows, and that'll open up the command palette. Then you want to type in install code and click this one that says shell command install code command and path. Press OK. And next, we're going to open up the command palette again, Command-Shift-P, and we're going to search for Open Settings and click Preferences Open Settings UI. Now here in this search bar, we want to search for Format, and here for Editor Default Formatter, we're going to change it to Prettier, which is the extension we just installed, and then we want to check the box here that says Editor Format on Save. Alright, and that's it for your settings. We can close this out here and dive into how we actually use VS Code. So let's check out our File Explorer first, and you can do that by clicking this Pages icon here on the left, and you can see that we have no folder open right now. If you already have a folder where you plan on storing your code, you can open it up right from here, but otherwise I'll show you how you can do it without even leaving VS Code by using the terminal. We're going to head up to the top here, we're going to click on Terminal and press New Terminal, and then this box should pop up at the bottom here. The terminal allows you to manage the files on your computer just by typing Linux commands. So let's learn a few basic ones. If we go down in here, we'll see this little squiggle right here at the end, and that basically means that we're just in the root directory. So if we want to see what files are in here, we can type in ls, which stands for list, and we can see all the different folders that we have in our root directory right now. So now we want to make a new directory, so we can type in mkdir, which stands for make directory, and then type the name that you want to use for it. So I'll do tutorial. And now if we type ls again, we can see the tutorial does in fact appear here. So next we can do cd or change directory to get inside of that folder. We type in the name. And pro tip, you can auto-complete it by pressing tab. And now we can see the squiggle has changed to tutorial, showing us that we're now in the tutorial folder. And now if we do ls, nothing comes up, which means there's a completely empty folder. If you find that you went into the wrong folder, you can either do cd ... to go up one level, or you can do cd squiggle, and that takes you all the way back to the root directory. So now let's go back into that folder that we just made. And now we want to open this up in Visual Studio Code. So we can just type in code space dot, and that should open up a new window with tutorial as the main directory here in your File Explorer. And just to set us up for the next tutorial video, we can go in here, we can click New File, and create anything you want. But the best practice is to name it index, and we'll do index.html for our next video on HTML. And that's it for VS Code. I'll see you next week when we cover HTML.